Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Football is Fixable Alright podcast. I'm James, and with me is someone who needs no introduction. So let's go on.
Let's get on with the show, yeah.
Right, Sess, this week we have a new feature. So we call it Off the Post. And what I'm going to do, right, I found across all of our socials, we've got loads of comments and things. I think, that's gold. We've got to talk about these because football is a very emotive sport, isn't it? There's loads of emotion in it. Loads of fans want to.
People have opinions.
Yeah.
And
my
they
goodness.
can't get away with it.
Yeah, exactly. We can't let them. We've got to fix all of football, remember?
Yeah.
So, the first one is around Manchester City's third kit. I don't know if you've seen it.
No, I haven't actually.
I'll show you. Look at this. You see that?
Oh, yeah.
So this was on like Twitter and Instagram, and I collected a few comments from Manchester City fans, right?
Right, who we know are very reasonable and logical.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's not going to go down well when your own fans are coming out with comments like these, right?
Okay.
So some of the Man City fans are coming out with comments like, "Makes my eyes hurt." Putting the words toxic waste to a different level. What on earth is this? And it's got this luminous green collar, and just for the listeners who aren't looking at it, it's got a luminous green collar and down the side, sort of under the armpits and down the side of the shirt. The Etihad sponsor in the middle is like this toxic green color. Yeah,
so it looks like an inside out of a substitute bib or something.
Yeah, it's just like, who comes up with this stuff?
Yeah.
I can't say all of the next comment to keep this a clean podcast.
Fair enough.
It's something dreadful, lads. You can fill in the blank there.
Elephants?
Yeah, it could be elephants.
Yeah.
World's something kit goes to us. Laughing emojis. That's a something take, surely. Absolutely something horrid. So let's just say they haven't reacted well.
No.
But in the advert where it's got the players wearing them, some of the funniest comments were, the players' faces say it all. It's like, that design is a disgrace to City, our eyes, the society, the raindrops, because they've got raindrops on the kit as well, to our intellectual level and humanity in general.
Wow.
So there you go. And they go on like this. So it's just, I thought I had to get some of these comments in there. That's Off the Post. There's comment corner for this week. So this week, we're going to be talking about PSR. It's the letters, I was going to say the words, but the letters on every football fan's lips, isn't it? Particularly
all of them.
Well, particularly Newcastle and Villa fans' lips.
Yeah, definitely at the moment, yeah.
There's been we thought we had to do an episode on it because it's been all over the news that, Newcastle are in a situation with Isak, their striker. They might have to sell him. They've hardly been able to buy anyone this summer.
Yeah.
Players have been attracted to the top sides, the Liverpools, the Arsenals, the Cities.
Well, why don't you tell the people listening at home what PSR is? How about that?
Okay, yeah, we did.
Because I can't actually remember what PSR stands for.
We did an episode on PSR, Sess. You should remember this from last season. Do you remember what the PSR stood for?
Yeah, personal statutory rights.
Something
like that.
So it's profit and sustainability rules.
Yeah, I was close.
And the idea is the intention behind it is that it's making football clubs sustainable. We've had clubs in the past like Bury, for example, go into liquidation. They don't exist as a club anymore. Several clubs have gone into sort of financial and administrative difficulties and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's also about leveling the playing field. And we're going to really touch on that in this episode because we want to level the playing field across the league so every team can compete and attract players and that kind of thing. The Newcastle and Villa fans are saying that it's a closed shop, that the top sides in the league, we can't compete with them. Players want to go to those sides because they can offer better salaries, better initial transfer fees and stuff like that. I have a graph, basically, from, I don't want to make this too technical, but it's the most Premier League clubs, that it says basically most Premier League clubs should be safe from PSR trouble this month. So you are allowed to make, is it £105 million loss over a 3-year period?
Yeah.
Which sounds a bit mad anyway.
Rolling 3 years.
A rolling 3-year period, yeah. That sounds a bit mad anyway. That's sustainable, is it?
Yeah.
But the fact that Villa are at the most risk, they're highlighted in red on this graph, they are within £15 million of breaching PSR rules, according to this
Within
graph.
15 million. Oh,
Yeah.
This is mental, isn't it?
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Chelsea, who have been buying players left, right and centre. We were talking to Coops the other day, and he was saying how they bought another 3 trillion players. And so, every single window seems. Yet they are, as John and I were talking on a previous episode, playing the PSR game. They can spend more than anyone without breaching PSR rules, up to £300 million.
Is you mentioned that PSR came in to help level the playing field. Was it ever advertised as such? Because I know it was definitely advertised to stop clubs from losing money, and I can understand it from that point of view.
Yeah.
Was it ever advertised to level the playing field? I'm only saying it because if we're going to bash PSR for it not leveling the playing field, maybe it was never advertised as that, in which case are we having a go at them for something that they never really said that they were going to, like they were promising to fix?
That's a fair point, yeah. In the, football's such a convoluted, you get so many media outlets kind of pushing different kind of messages and things, don't you? And every fan talks about it, and it's almost Chinese whispers in a sense that the message gets skewed and stuff like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the key principles was to make sure, one, that we don't get any more clubs going into liquidation and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But also to try and prevent the new Chelseas and Man Cities from being able to just suddenly spend ridiculous amounts of money and kind of ruin competition. That was one of the kind of principles behind it, wasn't it?
But this is what I find madness, right? This is like when the government was talking about plastic, and they constantly go on about how plastic is so bad, it's terrible for the environment, we need to stop using plastic. And then you would say to them, oh, so are you going to stop, like ban plastic for... Oh, no. Plastic's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like that. So it just feels as though they're saying, oh, we will absolutely help you be sustainable. So you're only allowed to lose 105 million over 3 years.
Well, I mean,
where's the sustainability in that?
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Everton were doing so badly with our money in the last 5-6 years or something, and we'd breached it.
Yeah, you did.
We were in trouble of breaching it for 3 years in a row or something. Where's any sustainability there?
And when you compare it with Chelsea, when they spend almost £300 million and Everton get the points deductions for breaching PSR, it's absolutely bonkers. Chelsea have also managed to stay on the positive side of PSR, and other teams have done similar tactics as well. They've found loopholes. Yeah. And the idea is, what Chelsea have done is they've sold assets like their hotels, their women's team, to themselves or to their company. That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't really think that's a bad idea to sell the women's team. About 2 weeks ago, I decided maybe that is a good idea after all.
Are you saying that possibly because Everton did that a couple of weeks ago as well?
No, it's just a coincidence, really. That's
oh, right.
Yeah.
You've just changed your mind on it.
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant idea.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
To be fair, though, I've always said it's a horrendous thing to... when I said it when Chelsea did it, I think... Did Villa do it, or are they planning to do it?
Yeah, Villa were definitely in the news about it. It was reported.
When Everton did it, I was genuinely disappointed. Firstly, it just kind of makes it seem as though the women's team is not important. It just makes it seem like it's just another tool.
You can just throw it around.
Yeah, just to help the men's team.
Yeah.
And I think that's unfair. But also, it's just a ridiculous loophole. How did they not see this loophole?
Yeah. It is crazy, isn't it? And when we're looking at the transfer of so many players into Chelsea for several years now, since the new ownership came into Chelsea, the players that they've bought and sold, and it's just absolutely crazy. We did talk about it on the first episode, so I won't go too much into it. But it's clever as well. You can't. It's not having a go at Chelsea. They've just found a loophole in the rules.
No, that's it. Any clubs that have actually done this, I don't necessarily blame the clubs. I blame the PSR system, the regulators, whoever it is, to have just created this loophole. And then also the whole Prem thing, all of the rules are decided by the Prem teams, aren't they? So what you're doing is you're giving the power to the clubs that are benefiting from the loophole, and then just going, do you want to fix these loopholes potentially? Oh, you don't want to? Oh, right, okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like it or lump it, really. There is some people are reporting that really the top six, or the big six, if you like, Premier League sides, so not actually in the top six in recent times. Yeah. But the big six clubs, they threatened the Super League, and all of that was part of, they want to go and make more money. We'll stay in the Prem, but we want to have a closed shop that this is the conspiracy anyway.
Yeah.
That we want to be protected. We want to stay big and powerful. We don't want other teams breaking into our little circle and attracting the best players. We want to stay the big six. And it's kind of created this kind of feeling of injustice, I suppose, with Villa fans, with Newcastle fans especially, and other clubs will fall into that as well.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that in terms of the closed shop. I can see that. But also, I do see the reason why we needed it in the first place is because basically it starts with the players. The players are demanding such high wages that you need the clubs to be able to afford all of this. In order to do that, they need to play more games. So that's why there's so many more games now.
Which they're moaning about as well.
So if you don't want to play so many games, don't ask such high wages.
Yeah.
And if they're demanding all these high wages and the clubs want to be competitive, they have to pay these extortionate transfer fees and everything. In which case, you're going to have some sort of system where you're basically telling the clubs, all of football, it's going a bit mad now. Can you stop spending all of this money?
Yeah.
Spending so much money that you're going into debt. And
it's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, look, and the amount of spending these clubs are having to go through now. I mean, if you look at the big six spending, I'll put a post out on our socials, on like YouTube, for example, and I've got loads of people liking and commenting on it. The top six have spent so much money. Like, we're talking, a couple of them have spent over $1 billion in the last 5 years. This is. And Arsenal are now around 800 million or something. It's just ridiculous. Yeah. I think Liverpool 700 and something million, and the other clubs just can't compete with it. It's
not at all.
It's spiraling, isn't it? It is.
Spiraling. Yeah. There's definitely a call for some sort of levelling of the playing fields. I can understand that because Everton, for example, we had what was it, about 3-4 years ago? Do you remember there was that stat that said 95% of our revenues were going towards player wages. So we only had 5% left of the revenue to do anything else, which is just ridiculous. I can't imagine any of the top six it going anywhere near maybe 50%,
maybe Man United, but
yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know. But other than that, sensible members of the big six.
Yeah, so I can understand there being a call for the levelling of the playing field. However, the reason why this came in is because of how stupid the game's gone.
Yeah.
It's the same as boxing. Boxing is very similar at the moment, where they're basically pricing themselves out of fights. That's basically what's going on. So the fighters some of the fighters, the top fighters, they're basically so used to the Saudi money now, being paid 50 million for a fight.
Right.
If they're told the Saudis aren't sponsoring this, so can you fight for 10 million? They'll be like, no, maybe not.
Why would I?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you'll end up having these top fighters fighting once a year, once every 2 years, instead of back in the 60s and 70s, you'd have the top fighters fighting 6 or 7 times a year. So it's just almost being priced out, and that's exactly what football's doing now. They're even pricing themselves out of sustainability.
Yeah, that's the thing. PSR almost can't solve the problem in a sense.
Yeah.
It's got that crazy, and it does pass on. But this does ripple into, we won't go into too much of it, but even things like ticket prices for the fans have to pay. Some fans are being priced out. Again, I've seen Villa fans complaining about the ticket prices for the new season.
That is quite funny, though, that I've heard so many times about the ticket prices. Always seems to be full stadiums. Like, you guys moan about it. You're an Arsenal fan. You moan about it, and Arsenal normally have the highest tickets.
Yeah,
you desperately want to go every season.
Yeah, well, I do. Well, my big problem, and this is another problem, and another thing, is that I can't even get them anymore. When Arsenal were 5th and 6th and 8th and that kind of stuff, I could get rubbish. Tickets.
Yeah.
When we were next to Everton in a table,
we've always been rubbish. You know that.
I was able to get tickets, and then all of a sudden, since Arsenal were kind of, I'm going to say, competing for the league.
Yeah, less rubbish.
Yeah. It's almost impossible to get tickets now.
Yeah.
So,
But the ticket prices aren't the problem. If the ticket prices were higher, but then they said, hey, you've got an opportunity to buy a ticket, you'd be like, oh, brilliant. Yeah, can I have 2?
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's fair enough.
So maybe the fans are the problem. That's what you're saying, right? There we go, guys. James said that the fans are the problem.
Right, well, there's the problem, or the problems. So we'll get onto the fixes after the break. But first, we have a half-time head-scratcher for you. This week, presented by Coops.
This episode was filmed in front of a live studio audience. Question 1. No. Hello, this is your half-time head-scratcher for week 1. Can I start again? Hello, this is your half-time head-scratcher. When footballers retire they've taken on quite a wide range of jobs, from Vinnie Jones conquering Hollywood to David Beckham selling his underpants. But which ex-Chelsea forward went on to become the 25th president of his native Liberia? Find out after this short break for commercials. Hello again. I asked you before the break, which former Chelsea player became president of Liberia? The answer, of course, is George Weah. Analyse that, Gary.
Thanks, Coops. Oh, that was a good one. Right, we have another new segment. We're really treating our listeners today. So we thought we'd bring in more of Grumpy Sess's kind of logic, that grumpy logic that he brings. And here we are with sense and non-sensibility.
Have you ever noticed the illogicalness of the National League? I don't mind the National League, however the name National League makes no sense because it makes it seem to the layman as though the other leagues aren't national at all. However, the top 4 leagues of the English League are all national. Yet when you drop down from the professional leagues to the semi-professional leagues, all of a sudden you go from League 2, which already doesn't make sense because that's the 4th division, then you drop down to the National League. All of a sudden as though you weren't national. That makes no sense. And the National League itself is separated into North and South regional leagues. In which case, if you're in the North Regional National League, that's not national. That's not the whole nation, that's half of the nation. So where's the National League if it's not national? It's the one league, supposedly, that's national, and it's called national, and yet it isn't fully national. That, to me, is nonsense. And that is my sense and nonsensibility.
Well, can't really argue with that one then. So, I think it's time we got onto our fixes for PSRSS.
It's a good idea.
This is an issue, across all the leagues, you'll find that there's various types of closed shops, from Scotland to La Liga in Spain to the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
But we're going to focus on the Premier League's kind of closed shop, as it keeps getting called, if you like. Mm-hmm. Those big 6 clubs. And, one thing is about, player wages. We've talked about this in previous episodes, player wages in the Premier League. It's just
mental.
It's just, we mentioned the word spiraling.
Unless, obviously, we start getting paid that, in which case, I think it's perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, but it's justifying it, isn't it? We justify those wages, whereas a lot of Premier League footballers can't even kick with their weaker foot.
That's true, yeah. We can speak with our weaker foot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the idea that the wages are spiraling at that level, particularly for the big 6 teams, a lot of I might even say the old big 4, the top 4, if you like, the Man Uniteds, Man Cities, and even Arsenal's and Chelsea's.
It's like Arsenal paying Kai Havertz 300 and something grand a week. It's just ridiculous, isn't it?
I think it's 250. But
in which case, yeah.
So take that back. But yeah, the wages are crazy, and we've talked about having a price cap.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be some sort of price cap. And in previous episodes when we've talked about it, I've had the response sometimes from yourself, sometimes it's been off air and things where we say, yeah, but hold on, that will be disadvantaging the Premier League against La Liga, which is the closest rival in terms of quality of league and that kind of stuff. So I've got an improvement to my own fix, and that is...
Oh, wow. Are you fixing your own fix?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, you've heard of tracker mortgages, right? So...
yeah, why not?
So
does that make me sound smart?
Yeah. So you can sort of track the interest rate changes or anything like that. If you're looking at getting a rate for a good deal on your mortgage, and it tracks the kind of interest rates or the economy and various other things.
Right.
So I'm thinking we could have a La Liga tracker for wages. So there is a wage. Is this making sense?
Sure. Why not?
So across the whole of the Premier League, there is a price cap. We originally talked about it being anchored, which is actually something the Premier League is looking at doing, to the lowest club in the league in terms of wages. So all the wages are limited to that. But I would change that to the La Liga tracker.
So you basically try to price cap based on what the La Liga price cap or average would be.
The average, yeah. So it's not just the Real Madrids and Barcelona's, it's La Liga's averages and that kind of stuff.
That sounds like a lot of what... Are you going to do that? That sounds like something that no one will be willing to do.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I've got ChatGPT and I've got Google. I mean, what else do I need? You can do anything with that.
ChatGPT, can you do this for me? Yeah.
Yeah. AI
Okay.
can do it.
Well, one of the fixes I have is some sort of sliding scale. Oh, that's alliteration there.
I like
Some
that.
sort of sliding scale.
Yeah.
And people will remember that now.
Yeah.
The way I mean it is something like in Formula One. Now, Formula One is very much a closed shop kind of system.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the 10 constructors are on a even playing field or track, I suppose, for them. Anyway,
Level playing field?
yes. What did I say?
Even playing
Yeah. Well,
something.
that's good enough.
Ground, I think.
Yeah. If you're not, I'm going to edit you out of this episode.
Right.
So, the reason why I bring them up is because they have a sliding scale for the wind tunnel for the following season.
Right.
So when they do their what do they call their research and
R&D?
R&D, yeah, research and development for the following season, the higher you are in the Constructors' League, the less time you have in the wind tunnels for your R&D the following season.
Oh, right, okay.
So they try to do a level playing field. They kind of completely forget about the fact that Mercedes, Red Bull, these teams have much bigger wages and revenue coming in than the other teams. So it's still not a level playing field, but at the very least they're trying something. And I think football could do something similar with that, with some sort of sliding scale. Some sort of sliding scale.
Right, you're on it.
I know, right?
I love this.
So that the higher you are in the league, there's something that stops you from being able to improve as quickly, basically it stops you from improving as much as they currently are. The big six, they just go, oh, we're struggling a little bit, so let's just spend another 500 mil. They can't do that. There's going to be some sort of sliding scale.
I like it. I like the thinking. And that's the idea is that, the better you are performing in the Premier League, the more of a handicap you'll have. So the other teams in the league will have more opportunity to try and catch up.
Exactly. I don't know really where that, for every position that you go up, maybe that's an extra kilo you have to wear on the back of your, in a backpack or something. I don't know.
Oh, you know those Under Armour vesty things, whatever they're called, where they track your running. That could be heavier for the...
Exactly. Tie your shoelaces if you're first. Yeah.
Oh, actually, so I've got a fix then on that.
Okay.
So the higher you are in the league, the less time you're allowed to have at half-time tactical talks with a manager in a dressing room.
Right. Okay.
So
I like it.
Yeah. Last season, if you finished in, top first, second, third, fourth and all that, the time you get is less the higher you finish. So Liverpool, for example, as soon as they get in a dressing room, they've got a minute or so and then they've got to be out again. The back on the fit. So all the teams they're playing against to spend more time tactically adapting their sides.
Yeah, I like it.
How
I
about
like that. Yeah. So they just go, beep, no, that's it. And they start playing white noise or something so you can't talk to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And put a gas bomb. Not a gas bomb.
A gas bomb?
No, what's it called? A stink bomb. That one.
I see.
Put a stink bomb in the changing rooms.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to kick them out of the changing rooms, would you? I mean, they still need a rest. Or are they not even allowed a rest?
Ah, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe they get less rest as well.
Yeah. Well,
they have to go and sit on the field.
Yeah. One final fix that I have. Oh, it's my alliteration today.
This is the best I've ever seen you.
Thank you very much.
I'm just going to say. It's a low bar, but it's good.
Yeah. Well, the only way is up, right?
Yeah, exactly. Bit like Everton.
Yeah, that's what I've always said. It's always better to look up. What can I say?
Yeah.
So my final fix is actually to do with embracing PSR and the whole idea of the closed shop, I suppose. Because if we're going to have a closed shop, and it's going to be nigh on impossible to fix that, isn't it? Really, to open up the league so that we don't have this big six.
It's never going to be perfect, is it?
Exactly. So if we're not going to, let's embrace it and let's have the best closed shop ever.
The best closed shop ever?
The best closed shop. Because at the moment, we've got the big six. And I think that's too much.
It's quite an open shop if there's six.
Yeah, it's open. That's like almost a third of the league, isn't it?
Is in the shop, yeah.
Yeah, whereas you've got, in Scotland, there's a closed shop in terms of just Celtic and Rangers, really.
And Rangers are only halfway in the door, especially in recent years.
It's mostly Celtic.
Yeah.
You've got, I think with Italy, they've kind of forgotten about the closed shop system and they're making it too fair and everything. So there's loads of new clubs able to win the league. So we'll forget about them. La Liga, pretty much a closed shop again. You've got Barcelona, Real Madrid. Very occasionally you've got Atletico, but it's a closed shop.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So I think what we need to do is maybe do something similar to what the Germans have done. This is the first time I've mentioned the Germans, I'd just like to say, in this season.
It's been at least 5 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. They have an amazing closed shop system because what they do is they make it seem as though it's really fair. And that's the 50 plus 1 rule. And it's a great idea because 50 plus 1, it means 49% of each club has to be owned really by the fans, isn't it? So it makes it look, fantastic. It's really bringing the fans into the game.
It's a great PR stunt, isn't it?
Brilliant. Yeah. What they don't seem to realise is it is an incredibly closed shop. It's so closed. I think something like in the 27 years they've had the 50 plus 1 rule, Bayern Munich have won 20, I think it is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's mental, isn't it? So, and I doff my hat to them. That's a fantastic closed shop.
That is a very closed door.
It is, yeah. So
else.
I think we need to embrace something like that so that we can really close it and have a really good closed shop system. And in which case, 6 is too many. So which of the big 6 are going to be kicked out of the closed shop?
It's a tough decision, but Tottenham.
I
think Tottenham straight away. I don't know how they got
there
in the shop. To be honest.
They're there for the revenue, fair enough. But I mean, come on.
Sorry, Tottenham.
Yeah. And then probably, I suppose, Man United, we need to kick them out. If they get good enough, but later on, maybe we'll consider them again. But I mean, 15th.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have like a bouncer on the door or something. United aren't allowed in. They'll be kicking and screaming. We know that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the good thing is Dan's not here this week, so we can say what we want about United.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that's 4 teams left. I would say probably best to kick Arsenal out. They're never a real threat.
What? We've been... don't make me say it. We've been second 3 times in a row.
Wow. So when was the last time you won the league?
Not that long ago.
Just a couple of decades.
21 years ago.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That,
Arsenal are out. So there's 3 teams in the closed shop. I reckon that's good enough.
Yeah?
That's going to be the best closed shop because at the very least with Bayern Munich and the Bundesliga, there's a couple of times other teams have come in, but basically it's Bayern Munich, isn't it? That's the closed shop.
It almost takes a miracle. When Leverkusen, they had to go unbeaten to challenge
yeah, exactly.
It. So that kind of says how closed the shop usually is.
Yeah, and then Dortmund did so much to try and stay at the top that they've now crumbled and they're finishing 5th, 7th. And Real Madrid, they have 2, sometimes 3. They're trying to have a 3 at the top kind of thing, which we can have.
True. Yeah.
City, what is it? City, Chelsea, and
Liverpool.
Yeah, that'll be perfect.
I'm not sure I like it, actually, speaking about it. Well, I have to congratulate you, though. It's been 3 episodes until you've mentioned the Germans and the Bundesliga.
Yeah, I've held back.
Which is good for you. I know you're going to German Talking Anonymous because you mention them so often. It's on your mind so much. You need to get support.
I need to release it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, 3 episodes in. That's pretty good going.
Thanks very much. Danke.
So I think, well, there we go. We've solved another one.
Yeah.
I think. So I think
very smooth without Dan this week, wasn't it?
It was somehow. Yeah. Without all the waffle and the fat.
Yeah. Nothing really. I don't know. Holding us back, is that the right way to say it?
Yeah, but like United in a sense.
Yeah.
Like holding the Premier League back.
Holding the big 6 back.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Absolutely. Can we have a closed shop on this podcast? I don't know. It's just gone well.
Yeah.
So thanks for that, Cess, and thanks to me for some of the ideas. So I think it's time for some of John's fantasy football tips. Here's John's juicy tips. Juicy.
I'd like to PSR on your tips, John.
John's juicy tips.
Yeah.
Alright, I've got some juicy differentials for you today. All of these players are less than 10% owned, so they could give you a fruity boost up your leagues. So, let's start. In defence, it's the fruity Frenchman Lenny Euro for Man United. He's their cheapest playing defender at 4.5 million. And they have Burnley up next, so it could get you a clean sheet. In midfield, it's the Swedish strawberry Anthony Elanga for Newcastle. without Isak and without Gordon, they're going to need some goals from somewhere. And they've got Wolves and Leeds up next. So Anthony is your man. And up front, it's the rich raspberry Richarlison for Spurs. At 6.6 million, he's a cheap striker. And Spurs don't meet any of last year's top four until game week 12. So plenty of chances for Richarlison to score more goals. Juicy.
Thanks, John. As always, some very juicy tips there. Our league is looking pretty fresh and healthy, Sess, I must say.
There's a lot, aren't there?
Yeah, we've had extra people join. I'll dish the code out shortly. But first of all, must say, shout out to who was top at the end of game week 1 last week. It was Rufus. Rufus Russell with Mad Dogs was top of the league. He's now currently second. But I'll read out who's top of the league after Monday's result. So we're recording this before the Monday night football game. So if you're top at the end of this weekend, then you'll get a shout out next week. But if you'd like to join our league, you can enter the code SD4GZV, and then you can join, show your true ball knowledge, get shout outs on the podcast. Each weekend you top the table and see if you can compete with our Juicy Tips guru. Right, so there we are then. Another good fixing day there, Seth. Are we happy?
I think so. It's a big one to fix, and we know it's the almost impossible job to fix this because it kind of like merges into so many different avenues, doesn't it?
It's so many different like ripple effects, isn't it? Like we're getting into player wages and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's almost a cartel, isn't it? We mentioned a closed shop. You could say a cartel. And yeah, those big...
You could say that.
Those giant... Yeah, you could do.
Yeah.
I just did.
Yeah.
Those big 6 sides, they're going to take some shifting, but we're going to do it.
Absolutely.
So thanks for listening, everyone. And have a great week. We will see you next time. It's goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from me.